Okay, so you're in need of some 4-2-3-1 tactics. Well, lucky for you, I have you covered in this video. I've been testing this formation for the last couple of days in both rivals, in the new cups, and also I've been playing a lot of squad battles using this formation as well. Just kind of testing it out, seeing what kind of runs work, what kind of tactics are the best, and I think I found the best ones. As you can see, this is my team. It's not the most crazy team, but it's also not the worst team. So if you have a worse team and you don't have as many roles and role pluses and stuff, you might struggle a little bit, but this is 100% the best tactics that I have found personally for me. Obviously, mess around with them, make them better for how you play, and obviously whatever players you've got with what roles, try and make that your base foundation for what you do with your team. I'm just giving you guys simply the tactics that have worked for me so far. Okay, so the first thing that I put on is I put on the short passing build-up style. Basically what this means is your players are gonna, instead of running away from you and just running behind the defenders and stuff like that, they're actually gonna come to you for the pass, and you're actually gonna be able to get some sort of link up play and actually be able to pass the ball, basically, because we all know it's annoying when your players don't come to you and you have to manually trigger every single time. So having short passing is just great for little triangles and being able to build up the ball better. For the defensive approach, I would not recommend having a super low line or a super high line this year, so I would recommend just stay on 50, test it out. If you want a slightly higher line, you can manually adjust it if you want to. For me, I'm just sticking on 50. It seems to be the best. We're going to concede a bunch of goals anyway. It's just the way that FC26 is. So now onto the actual roles themselves. So for our striker, I'm very lucky that I got Char in the fact that he does have advanced forward plus, and that's exactly what we want. It's still the most superior tactic in the game. It was the same last year. A lot of the tactics are the same as last year, I'm not going to lie. But the tactics are good, why change them? Then for our cam, we're going to go ahead and we're going to chuck floor inverts onto playmaker plus. Now you can go with the shadow striker plus as well if you want to. If you do have a plus in shadow striker, I would recommend doing that. If you do not have the plus playmaker, or you don't have the plus playmaker, whatever. Basically, if your player has shadow striker and not playmaker, I would put them on shadow striker. But for me, floor inverts is going to be playing on playmaker. I just find it much better, especially since he has incisive plus as well. That means that he's going to be able to do a bunch of easy through balls, and especially for creating space for the wingers and the striker, it's going to be great to have him on playmaker. For the focus, you can go on build up if you want. I just prefer to have it on balance. It lets him be a little bit more attacking in my opinion. So for me, I prefer balance, but if you want to put him on roaming or build up, feel free to mess around with that. Then for both the left mid and the right mid, we're going to go with inside forward and attack. Now the reason we do this once again is it basically creates this nice little diamond up top. So you've got your striker who's always going to be forward. You have your cam who's kind of going to be slightly attacking, but still going to be in that sort of middle area to be able to pass out wide or continue passing in forward to your striker as well. And your left mid and right mid being on attack kind of brings them up a little bit, not too far to the point where they're left wingers and right wingers, but they're still going to be able to bomb up and down that left and right side quite a lot, and it opens up just that extra little bit of space that you might be able to beat the fullbacks with. Now I personally haven't messed around with too many of the other ones like winger or half winger or anything like that. I haven't messed around with any of them, so for me, inside forward still great, but like I say, I haven't really tried the other ones. Then for our two CDMs, we're going to put them both on deep line playmaker. Now you can change this if you want to. If you want to have, say you have like a Caicedo or something that does have a holding plus, you can put one on holding plus, and of course that's going to make your team slightly more defensive, but what you're going to lose out on is the ability to basically build up, especially while on deep line playmaker. Your players sort of move around, create a little bit more space. Yeah, you might get caught a little bit on the counter attack, but you're still going to have way more passing options if you put both your DMs on deep line playmaker. I like to use build up. You can use defend if you want a slightly more defensive player. One thing I will say is if you want to have a little bit extra help on defense, only put one of them on defend and then put the other one on build up still. That way you're going to have that mix of one person still slightly staying back and the other person getting a little bit more open to be able to pass to. And now for both of our fullbacks, once again we are going to have the exact same, just like the left mid and the right mid, except this time we are going to have them on wing back, and you can either do balanced, you could do support to have them slightly further inside. It's completely up to you. Or if you want an even more defensive formation, then you can go ahead and stay on fullback, and I would recommend putting them on this new tactic called versatile. Now for wingbacks, what they're basically going to do is it's going to create the right hand side sort of trio. It's going to create a nice little triangle. As you can see, for me it's Santos and both the Jameses, so you're going to be able to play from your center mid, or your DM, sorry, to your right back, to your right mid, back to your DM. It's going to create a nice little triangle there, and you could either get verts involved in that as well. It depends how far up the pitch you are, but that's if you're on wingback. If you're on fullback and on versatile, that's basically going to allow you to have a little bit of extra push up the pitch if you need to, but you're still going to be able to come back on defense and have a solid structure on the counter attack. So it's personal preference if you prefer that. For me, because I'm using Reece James right now, I'm going to keep him on fullback and on versatile just because he's got fullback plus and he doesn't have wingback plus plus. But for Hernandez, on the other hand, he does have wingback plus plus. Therefore, I'm going to put him on wingback and I'm going to leave him on balance. And as you can see, he covers that entire left hand side. So it's kind of like having an extra left mid and also being able to keep your left back at the same time. Especially if it's someone like Hernandez that has a lot of pace, I would definitely recommend wingback. Now for your centre backs, as always, every single year that this is in the game, I'm going to recommend that you use Defender Plus or Defender Plus Plus if you have it. I would definitely recommend the Defender one just because it's the most solid structure. Your players aren't going to run out of position, especially this year where through balls are absolutely destroying defenses again. You're going to need two centre backs to stay in position, not run out of position, and be able to just stay there, cut out those through balls, and just do a defensive job basically. So I would recommend just putting them on defender and defend. And then for goalkeeper, once again this year, you can try and mess around. Like there is ball playing keeper, which is a new one that I haven't really used that much. As every single year, I try and use whatever plus plus my keeper has. If you can get a keeper with goalkeeper plus plus, that's probably the most solid one, but for now I'm using sweeper keeper because I have Lev Yashin's silver icon in goal. There's not really too much difference between all of them, to be honest. Some of them, like the sweeper keeper for example, is a risk-taking keeper who stops attacks outside the box. But to be honest, unless they're on like a super counter from like a corner or something, I don't notice Yashin coming out of the box at all. It's not that big of a deal. If you're going to concede, you're going to concede. But there we go. There is my tactics for the 4-2-3-1. Now, this same thing basically applies for the cam version of this, the narrower version of this formation. But instead of the inside forward, you would just have playmaker on both of your left and right cam. But the same premise kind of still is the same. It's the same formation, just slightly more narrow. I prefer this one because you actually still have those left mid and right mid that can basically play as wingers and then come back and drop back into that defensive structure as a left mid and a right mid. And if you guys want the actual tactic code, it is on the screen right now. You can see it underneath the default tactic. You can see the code right there. Go ahead, put the code in. Let me know how you guys get on with this formation and these tactics. Hopefully you boys do enjoy these tactics. And if you do, or you simply enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and I'll catch you boys in the next one.